Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you, as it always is. I hope you're all doing well. Back to business today. We've got three new tournaments. We've got Sweden, Belgium, and Kazakhstan. It is most definitely game on the indoor hard court. Make sure you get your comments in, with your predictions. Anything that I'm going for personally will be in that pinned comment. You can take a look at that. You're more than welcome to. You take it if you want, you leave it if you must. It is entirely up to you. That choice is yours. But do like the video. If you'd be so kind, make sure you get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not already. We're on that road to 3k. We do continue to grow each and every day. It would be an honour to welcome you to the team. You know it would. But now all that's out the way, we'll waste no more time with it. Let's get straight into business. Finish off these matches in the first round. Let's get it on. Over in Belgium is going to be Ruusuvuori and Mpetshi Perricard. It would kind of have to be Mpetshi Perricard in this. It's been quite some time since I've seen Ruusuvuori perform at this level. Now, a couple of years ago, maybe would have had a bit of a sprinkle on him. But, you know, to my surprise, he's not that big of a dog. Not that big of a dog in this now. I do have a couple of concerns for those coming back from the Asian swing, more so the Shanghai Masters. How are they going to be holding up for this one shall remain to be seen. But based on what we know, you know, Gio can turn up, do exactly what we know he can do. And he's a nightmare for the best of them. He is a nightmare for the best of them on his day. It's just getting it out of him. It's just getting it out of him now. They have played each other twice before. Both of them were last year. Gio did win the pair of them, one on the grass, one on the hard court in Washington. 2 tiebreakers as well. Not surprised. You probably get decent odds for the tiebreaker on this. Call it 1.5 for Gio Mpetshi Perricard. As far as the prediction goes, I'd have to go with him. I would have to lean with him. Would I take him at 1.5? He could be a problem over here, you know. I'm just going to wait and see what Gio looks like on the day. I do think he gets it done against Ruusuvuori. I mean, it shouldn't really be a question if someone within the top 40 is going to get beat by someone outside the top 600. That's right. Ruusuvuori's kind of been struggling for quite some time now. He's trying to find the way back to the player that he once was. It just hasn't been happening for him this season. 9 wins, 13 losses in the total. You know, 1-5 on the hard court, 6-6 indoors. For the most part, it's just been challenger. Pretty sure there's a couple of ITF games sprinkled in there somewhere earlier on. He's struggling on the challenger tour, and I feel like, I don't know about you, I don't think he's faced anyone quite like Gio or quite with the service power of Gio Mpetshi Perricard. It might be a bit of a shock. It might take a bit of adjusting to, well, a bit of time to adjust rather. Can't see him getting it done. I think Gio should be good at 1.5 today. He could be a bit of a problem on these courts, providing all goes well. So we'll move on to Comesana and David Goffin. I'd be leaning with David Goffin, you know, for some weird reason. Something's telling me David Goffin in this one. Is it because we're in Belgium? Possibly. Is it because we're on the hard court? Possibly. On paper, you'd look at it and you'd think Comesana is a lot more trustworthy. Maybe not a lot, but you'd say he's a bit more trustworthy. Better record. 19-14 on the clay, 9-9 on the hard court. As for David Goffin, 14-24 in total, 10-15 on the surface, 0-2 indoors. Not very promising. Not very promising, but he is in his home tournament. And last week in Shanghai, I thought he looked alright. The game against Alexander Muller, he looked really good there. The match against Ben Shelton. Now, not only did Ben Shelton look absolutely horrendous, I thought David Goffin looked absolutely unplayable on the day. And then he turned up against Diallo, lasted 3 games, and then had to pull out. So a couple of concerns in the fitness department, a couple of concerns regarding the fitness of David Goffin. Francisco Comesana can be very, very ropey on the hard court. We've seen him have a couple of decent results. Nothing to write home about. He was fairly decent in the Cincinnati Masters. Ended up winning, was it 3 games? 3 or 4? I think it was just the 3. Ended up getting beat by Rublev in the round of 16. Since that, he has played in 4 tournaments and he has won just 2 games. Alex Michelsen and Hugo Blanchet. Now, given the current form of Alex Michelsen and given the level of Hugo Blanchet, he looked absolutely horrendous yesterday against who did he play? James Duckworth, that's right. Yeah, I'm not going to kiss your ass too much over those wins. David Goffin at home. There's something about this. If we could get a little something of what turned up in Shanghai, I think he should be good for this one. And at 1.5, don't quote me on it. 1.55, 1.5. I feel like for David Goffin to be this much of a favourite, there's probably a good reason behind it. And I've done a bit of looking around before, and I've got David Goffin around this price. Usually cashes around 70% of the time, believe it or not. You can go and check it out yourself. But if you were, providing you wanted a piece of David Goffin today, I imagine that'd fill you with a bit more confidence. But David Goffin would be the pick for me today. Definitely the prediction, that's for sure. And then we've got Bergs and Raphael Collignon. Couple of concerns about this one. The main one being, like I've just said, Bergs played a couple of tournaments, played quite a lot of tennis over the Asian swing. Went 0-1 in Chengdu, 1-1 in Tokyo, and then had a very, very decent run over in the Shanghai Masters, did he not? 4 wins, and then ended up playing Djokovic. Didn't really have what it took to beat Djokovic, but not many do. Not many do. There's no shame in that. As for Raphael Collignon, 8 out of his last 10. Admittingly, the level of opponent that these two are used to facing are night and day. Night and day. Bergs he's a mainstay on the main draw. Collignon tends to reside on the Challenger Tour for the most part. But he's playing good. We've seen him make the step up before. We've seen him put in some solid performances. The game against Casper Ruud always comes into my mind. Now, I would have always said, looking at the record, we always said Collignon done the majority of the damage on the clay. But no, because this guy's really good indoors too. 16-5 this season. Bergs, he tends to play good indoors as well. He just tends to play good on the hard court. Very good player indeed. You look at the rankings here, 39 for Bergs. Collignon is nestled within the top 100 nowadays, 90 in the world. Now, these are both from Belgium. Home tournament for the pair of them. Like I say, you look at it on paper, you'd say it's got to be Bergs. Surely he's the better of the two. But with all that being said, these odds are somewhat split right down the middle. I did get Collignon around the even money dog, and he's now sitting around 1.95. So clearly there's a bit of cash coming in on that guy. That worries me. That does worry me, because on paper I looked at it and I just said it like that. Said it how it is. Bergs. It would be Bergs for me, but I don't think it would in this one. We've seen this. We've been in this spot a couple times this season where we look at the odds and straight off the bat something's not right. Something's got to give. I thought Bergs maybe would have been a slightly bigger favourite than that. I don't know. Maybe it's too good to be true. Maybe you should just take it. I don't think I could trust Bergs after having 3 or 4 days off after that run to the quarterfinals in Shanghai. If he comes out and looks a bit worse for wear, I wouldn't be surprised to see Collignon just save him off the court today. I really wouldn't. So approach that one with severe caution. Maybe Raphael Collignon just for a set. They'll both be up for it. I imagine if Bergs is going to be up for it, then Collignon is going to be more than up for it too. He's going to be the fresher of the pair, I would imagine. Give me Collignon for a set. I couldn't trust Bergs. Those odds really are putting me off. And then we've got Joao Fonseca and Van der Sandschulp. Be a good game. I feel like I haven't seen Joao Fonseca for quite some time. As for Van der Sandschulp, we've seen quite a bit of him. We've seen more of him anyway, I'd say. But it feels that way. Ever since he won he won the title. He didn't win the title. He got to the final over in the Winston-Salem. Some of the best tennis that we've seen all season. Ever since that, he has played in 5 tournaments and he has won just the one match. That's right. I mean, that was against Christopher O'Connell as well. 5 losses, 1 win since that run to the final in Winston-Salem. Is it check, please, for Van der Sandschulp, as he just went, yeah, ring me up, I'm done. Maybe not. Joao Fonseca, although I can't remember the last time I seen him, it was probably in the Davis Cup, just after that US Open. He finished on a high note, he really did. He was winning, he took out the Greeks in the Davis Cup, and then he went to the Laver Cup and put one on Flavio Cobolli. So he finished on a win. Completely skipped the Asian Tour. opted for the indoor court. How's he going to look? How is he going to look? As always, not only me, I imagine we've all got high expectations for the young Brazilian today. I, for one, know he is more than capable of beating a Botic van der Sandschulp, as he's already done it before. He played each other once before in the Davis Cup last year, 6-4, and a tiebreak to João Fonseca. We could be in for more of the same. Now, 1.5, after such a long layoff, I'd probably take some convincing getting there. You would have to convince me to get there. Fonseca will be the pick today over van der Sandschulp. I do believe he's just a better player. He's just a better player. Now, whether he turns up and wants to look like it on the day is entirely up to him rather. But I think I would have to go with João Fonseca. Like I say, he finished up well. We know how good he is on the hard court. He's made some significant improvements. I mean, look at that: 20 wins, 6 losses on the hard court, 34 and 15 in total. Van der Sandschulp 29, 28 on the season, 30 and 11 on the hard court, 0 and 3 on the indoor surface. Give me João Fonseca. I ain't going to overthink that one too much. It's still the first round after all, folks. And there's a couple more for this one. I've got one more here, and the other two still haven't filtered through. So the one that I have got is Valentin Royer and Sebastian Baez. It was supposed to be somebody else. Can't remember who he was supposed to be playing, but now it's Valentin Royer. He's come through qualifying, and he's quite a decent favourite as well to get this one done. 1.4. Ain't got too much to say about this one personally, folks. I mean, it is Sebastian Baez on the hard court after all, but you've just got to be a bit careful. You've got to be careful. I mean, Valentin Royer didn't even come through qualifying. Got beat by, don't even know how you say his name, something like Arnaud, Baily, something like that. Baily, is it? Baily? Whatever. 1-1 in qualifying. Now he played Sebastian Baez, who was currently winning 3 of his last 10, dating back to Bastad and Kitzbühel when we were on the clay. He's beat David Goffin, Carreño Buster, and went to war with Triple Z over in Shanghai. I'd like to think Valentin Royer, given what we've seen from him the past couple of weeks, past month or so, should have more than enough to take on the hardcore game of Sebastian Baez, but you just don't know. If you're not even making it through qualifying, some of these guys probably couldn't trust you against Sebastian Baez today. It's a weird one, but then again, how many times this season have we seen these lucky losers? This is probably the biggest layup for a lucky loser, in my opinion. You wouldn't be surprised to see Valentin Royer win this one, even though he didn't come through qualifying. 6 and 4 indoors, 16 and 8 on the hard court, and the majority of that come the other week over in was it Hangzhou? One of the Chinese ones. Sebastian Baez, 3 wins, 9 losses on the hard court, and it's mid-October. It's just not happening. I highly doubt it's going to start happening for him now. So 1.4 for Valentin Royer would be the one for me. And they've just come through now. There's no odds, but if anyone's got anything for Daniel Altmaier, and yeah, there he is. This is the one who's just beat him. What's his name? Don't know how you say it. It looks like Giles, but I think it's like Guy or something. Arnaud, Baily, something like that. Daniel Altmaier, he's playing. Getting Daniel Altmaier around 1.3 apparently. And then Pedro Martinez, Elliot Spizzirri, it's the other one. Odds are identical. Elliot Spizzirri being 1.3. Once again, they're just I wouldn't pick them with a lot of conviction, but they're just pure fades on the hard court, aren't they, for Pedro Martinez? Maybe not Daniel Altmaier, maybe not so much, but Pedro Martinez being over a 2-1 dog to Spizzirri, that seems mad, but he really does struggle that much on the hard court. I ain't got too much for them. They have just filtered through now, so I'll leave them. Over in Kazakhstan's going to be Tristan Schoolkate. He'll be taking on Adam Walton. Got ourselves an all-Australian shootout. Now these obviously are no stranger to one another. I imagine so, not off the court, but even more so on the court. Head-to-head is 4-3 to Tristan Schoolkate, and most importantly, he has actually won 3 in a row. He's won the last 3 meetings, beat him twice this year. These have played each other only on the hard court. Schoolkate won the first one, then it was Walton for 2. Actually, it was Walton for 3 in a row, and then it was Schoolkate for the last 3, like I just said. It's a tough one to call. It is a tough one to call. These odds are split somewhat right down the middle. I imagine we're getting Adam Walton as the slightest of favourites. He's ranked 20 places higher than Tristan Schoolkate. Given the conditions, I ain't got a lot to say about this one, but I think we've kind of come used to seeing Adam Walton a bit more in and around the main draw. Whether he has success or not, entirely up for him. As for Tristan Schoolkate, I think I've seen him a bit more as of late in the main draw as well. Now, like I've just said about Adam Walton, whether it's worked for him or not is an entirely different story, but they're both within that top 100 now. You know, both made significant improvements. Look, no stranger to one another. Like I say, if you're going to get anything from the pair of them, it's going to be on the hard court. 32 and 23 for Adam Walton this season. 33 and 25 for Tristan Schoolkate. Doesn't make it any easier. You could take either one for a set, either one to win, and I couldn't call you crazy. We could be in for an over. Both have been kind of struggling. I haven't really paid much attention to Tristan Schoolkate, more so Adam Walton. You know, he had to drop back down to the Challenger Tour and went 1-on-1. It ain't looking good. He's really been struggling ever since we've come back to the hard court. I couldn't split the pair of them. I could not split the pair of them. I think given the way it's been going as of late, maybe just lean towards Tristan Schoolkate while he's a slight dog. Maybe even take him for a set. You know, the ball does seem to be in his court as of late. Like I say, he's won the last 3 in a row. Why not make it 4? So we'll move on to Nicholas Jarry and Timothy Skatov. Is it Skatov or Skatov? Skatov sounds funnier to me, that's what I call him. But yeah, these have played each other once before. Australian Open 2 years ago. Nicholas Jarry had to come back from a set down it was, yeah. To take out old Timothy Skatov. Then he come back and won it 7-5, 6-1. That's right, that was in qualifying. Now, you get Nicholas Jarry as a very slight favourite in this one, call it 1.8. You know, the slightest of favourites. Really could go either way. Both of them struggling, to say the least. That is an understatement. I think Skatov is on a 5-game losing streak, and Nicholas Jarry is still on that losing streak dating back to Wimbledon. That's right. He even dropped down to the Challenger after the US Open, ended up getting beat in straight sets by Tom Gench, whoever that is. Currently sitting barely inside the top 300. So like I say, you're having to pick the best of a bad bunch in this one. Neither has got any form to go with. Nicholas Jarry, I know he's a better player. It's no question in my mind he's a better player than Timothy Skatov. 109 in the world for Nicholas Jarry. His ranking is quite a dip, to say the least. Look, he can pose a problem. This is what we've said all year about Nicholas Jarry. We've been saying it all year, and he turned up in Wimbledon and was fantastic. And then he done nothing prior to it, and he's done absolutely fuck all since. But I know there's a player in there. We just haven't got it. And I'm done with rolling the dice on Nicholas Jarry. As for Skatov, I mean, like I say, he's just in. His form's just as bad. His form is just as bad. He did win a title mid-August, but apart from that, like I say, these opponents, man, Carboni, Antoine Escoffier, Vecina, Liam Draxel, Santillan, it's not looking good. It ain't looking good for either one. I couldn't trust either one. I would imagine if it was possible, both would lose this if you would let them. I don't know. Skatov is playing at home. He is from Kazakhstan after all, so maybe that'll give him a bit of a kick up the arse that he needs to see this one through. But as always, I'd lean towards Nicholas Jarry, implementing the game plan that we know we can, and seeing that one through against a somewhat of a lesser opponent, if you would. So we'll move on to Binach and Hamad Medjedovic. I think I'm looking forward to this one the most out of these matches over in Almaty today. Played each other once before, last year, similar conditions, may I add, over in Belgrade. That went the way of Hamad Medjedovic. He had to come back from a set down in the first round against Binach. Close game, dropped the first set 6-3, come back 7-5, 6-3 in the second and third. Now we're getting Brandon Nakashima as a slight favourite, call it 1.7, 1.75 to be precise. Hamad Medjedovic barely a even money dog. Now I looked at this straight off the bat and I went, you know what, we're back in Europe, we're on the indoor hard court. I fancy a piece of Medjedovic. I think it's time we start taking Medjedovic, I really do. but he pulled out against, was it Rindenech? He pulled out. How funny is that? We'll talk about that probably more so through the week or whatever, but we said it all week, didn't we? Medjedovic taking that first set off Rindenech and having to pull out. What could have been? What could have been? It's a funny old game, is it not? Put in a decent performance over in the Winston-Salem, got beat by Gio in the quarterfinals, but ever since that he's played 4 tournaments and he's won just the one match, and that was I was going to say a walkover, but he retired. That was against Errol. Was it the Turkish guy in the Davis Cup? Holger Rune beat him in Japan, and then, like I say, he took a tiebreak off Artur Rindenech, and then had to pull out. So how fit is he? Is he good to go? That was the 2nd of this month, so he's had nearly 2 weeks off to prepare for this one. He should be good to go. I hope he's good to go. I've been looking forward to this. I love watching Medjedovic on the indoor hardcourt. There's not many that suits these type of conditions more than this guy, let me tell you. Brandon Nakashima is on a 2-game losing streak. 1-2 Alcaraz, quarterfinals in Tokyo. That's fine. No shame in that. The performance to Kamil Majchrzak over in Shanghai was absolutely scandalous. Absolutely scandalous. Kind of put me off this one as well. It's kind of, even though the bookies are telling me he's a slight favourite in this, and I do get it, that previous performance really does neutralise it for me. Couple of injury concerns for Medjedovic. Well, maybe not so much injury concerns, but fitness concerns. And with the way this guy plays as well, he hits so hard, he serves so big, and every shot is just it's got so much venom behind it. Every shot has intent to kill, doesn't it? And the longer these matches go on, I feel like he kind of gasses himself out with that play style. It's neither here nor there. That's just a small opinion. But when Medjedovic is doing his thing, it's a bit like Gio, innit? When he's doing his thing, there's not a lot you can do. That serve is untouchable. That forehand is untouchable. So much venom behind these shots. He's already proved to us in similar conditions last year that he can take out Brandon Nakashima. Binak, how's he gonna hold up as well? Like I say, he's come over from Shanghai as well. He got a little bit deeper than Medjedovic in Shanghai, just the one extra. Well, didn't get deeper actually. He didn't have to play till the 2nd round. Excuse me. I'm just coming off night shifts. I'm a little bit confused with looking at these at the moment. It's currently half past midnight. But yeah, first round exits for the pair of them, I suppose. Yeah, how much for that can you take away? I would just have to go with what I know. Although Brandon Nakashima's probably been a lot more trustworthy, well, a hell of a lot more trustworthy. Just as a whole, in general, I'd say 27 and 17 for Medjedovic is really good. 31 and 26 for Brandon Nakashima. He's kind of just ticked over a bit more than Medjedovic on the hardcourt. But indoors this season, Medjedovic was an absolute monster at the start of the year. Got himself a title on the Challenger Tour and also got himself to the final in Marseille when he ended up getting beat by no one other than Hugo Humbert. Who'd have thought? If they'd have played each other now, I imagine things would be a hell of a lot different. Give me Medjedovic as a dog. If he turns up and he's injured, he may not be able to get through this. If he's injured and he can't compete, he may just call it a day. He may call it a day, shake hands at the net, and then just call it a season. We'll see. It shall remain to be seen, but Medjedovic would be the lean for me in that one. And then the last one, over in Kazakhstan, is going to be Laslo Djere and Alexander Shevchenko. I hate this one. I hate that I'm forced. I feel like I'm forced to have to take Alexander Shevchenko in this. And I don't dish this word out or this phrase. I don't dish it out lightly, and quite frankly, I don't like using the word. But me feeling like I have to take Alexander Shevchenko today is, I'd say, probably 99% a pure fade on Laslo Djere. There's no other reason behind it, folks. It's simple as that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pick this one apart and break it down. Laslo Djere hasn't won a game since the first round of Mallorca when we were on the grass. And even when we were on the grass, he weren't even qualifying for these tournaments. He's in the mud. He's been really struggling, man. Currently on a 5-game losing streak, but I just feel like I ain't really seen that much of him lately. Rublev beat him in Wimbledon. Ignacio Busa done him in Gstaad. Vachereau obviously beat him in Shanghai, obviously, and then he's dropped down to the Challenger Tour and he's just been beat by Coleman Wong. Yeah, straight sets. Don't know what he's got to do. Do not know what he's got to do. 23 and 16 is not too bad. All that damage coming on the clay. No surprise there. He went 17 and 7 on that. But as for the hard court, 1 and 4, 2 and 1 indoors, Alexander Shevchenko. Although he's done the majority of his damage on the clay, also 0 and 1 indoors this season. I do think he's been in a lot better form as of late than Laslo Djere. He had a decent run in Chengdu, then he got to the semi-finals. Are we forgetting? Are we forgetting Alexander Shevchenko got to the semi-finals in Chengdu, ended up getting beat by Lorenzo Musetti, got slapped up by Musetti, and then it was a first round exit over in Shanghai to Nishioka. It's a tough one. Like I say, as far as the prediction goes, it would have to be Alexander Shevchenko, based on what I've seen as of late. I wouldn't pick it with a lot of conviction. Most certainly wouldn't bet on it, but at 1.7, it does seem very tempting. But Laslo Djere, you know, even in the midst of his struggle, he's still ranked a fair bit higher than Alexander Shevchenko, so I'm not sitting here saying Shevchenko is a better player, because I don't believe he is. If this was on the clay, I'd probably be taking Laslo Djere, but we're not on the clay. We're on the hard court, and he's banged out of form, so it would have to be Shevchenko or not for me. Heading on over to Sweden. First off, we've got Lajal. He'll be taking on Etcheverry. It's an interesting matchup. I think this is interesting. Now, we're getting Lajal as a slight favourite in this, call it 1.7. Now, the question I have for you, do we agree with that? Yes or no? Make sure you let me know in the comments. For the most part, he's been solid. Now, I could be wrong, but I think Lajal, he's not the only one, but Lajal definitely falls into that category of Challenger Tour players that these have all but conquered this Challenger Tour now. Most definitely ready for that step up. We've seen him attempt to step up a couple of times before, just not really done the damage as of yet. Come through qualifying, look fairly decent. He's just been going on run after run after run on the Challenger Tour. Quarter final after semi after semi after semi, basically. You know, it's only a matter of time before this guy is putting in work, doing the bits over on the main draw. As far as Etcheverry goes, you know, we know he's more suited to the clay. Although this season he's probably done a bit better on the hard court, 10 and 10 on the surface. Lajal, 20 and 10. I think this guy does all of his damage on the surface, 10 and 3 indoors as well. He's clearly really good, clearly very, very capable, and he's only young as well. Now, on paper, I was looking at this and I was thinking, you know what, even given the slight disadvantages that he may have, Etcheverry's probably better than this guy, you'd say. 63 in the world compared to the, 150. There should be levels. Maybe it's just a surface issue for Etcheverry. But like I said, I think he's been decent. He's certainly taken out higher ranked opponents, more proven opponents than the likes of a Lajal as of late here. That's for sure. Talon Griekspoor, Jerry Shank, Jesper de Jong, maybe not Dinky, but you know what I mean. He's more than capable of beating this caliber of opponents, if we're being truly honest. I'm kind of torn because I wanted to go with Etcheverry. The only thing that's put me off, he pulled out against Corentin Moutet, so there is obviously injury concerns. If there was no injury concerns, I don't see why he wouldn't turn up and at least be able to hang in there and give Lajal a very good fucking go today. Is that just me? I don't know. Etcheverry for a set. 1.7, it's kind of making your mind up for you. That's kind of telling me to go with Lajal, but I'd have to disagree. I would have to disagree. Etcheverry as a plus money dog in this one seems to be a little bit more trustworthy. Much more suited to the main draw. I say more suited to the main draw. He's just more proven on the main draw, so it kind of makes it a bit more easy for me to side with him in this. We're still in the first round, so I'm just going to see who turns up, see what Lajal looks like. So I probably wouldn't be surprised if he turns up and puts one on Etcheverry today with the current form that this lad is in. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and we'll move on to Kamil Majchrzak and Filip Misolic. I'll be going with Kamil Majchrzak in this. As far as the prediction goes, it would be Kamil Majchrzak. As far as a bet, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable taking him around 1.3. You can get him around 1.4, 1.45, depending where you look. It's probably a little bit more tempting as a parlay piece. Filip Misolic really struggled in qualifying for the most part. Before that, he was on a 6-game losing streak as well. Weren't looking good. He had to beat some Swedish kid who I don't even think's got a ranking, and then he barely got past Djere in the second round of qualifying. A third set tiebreaker with people outside the top 200, barely in the top 250 as well. Not too promising. Majchrzak, when he turns up, can be fucking lethal on these hard courts, especially on courts such as the ones we have over in Stockholm. These are very, very quick indeed. He looked great in Shanghai, looked fantastic against Ethan Quinn, just as good against Brandon Nakashima. He put in a blinder against Benak, 6-4 and a bagel, and then he turned up against De Minaur and just got dog walked. What are you going to do? It's what the demon does, innit? What are you going to do? I would imagine you're going to be able to deal with Filip Misolic a hell of a lot easier than the likes of Alex De Minaur. If we get the Benak version and the Ethan Quinn version of Majchrzak in this match today, I would imagine he should get this done with relative ease. Filip Misolic, not much of a hardcore player, much more prefers the clay. 8-7 on the surface this year, 5-4 indoors, 36-11 on the dirt. There you go. Majchrzak, 19-6 on the hard court, 12-9 on the clay, 1-2 indoors. I just think he's much more proven on the surface. Just an all-round better player, a hardcore player in my opinion. 1.4 for Majchrzak. Probably not going to pick it with a lot of conviction, but it would be the way I'd be leaning in that one today. So we'll crack on to Nikolai Budkov Kjaer. He'll be taking on Cilic. Am I going to go with Cilic in this one? I don't feel like I want to, you know. I think it's easy for me to look at this and go, yeah, Cilic. I'm more familiar with the name Cilic. I believe he should be winning this one, but you know, he's no spring chicken anymore, is he? He is no spring chicken anymore. I'm going off that performance he put in against Djokovic. Okay, he didn't get the win, but he looked really good. It was his most recent game as well, over in Shanghai. He did get past Basilashvili in that first round, but he hadn't won a game since Wimbledon. Prior to that, you know, US Open, Davis Cup, Hangzhou, Beijing, all first round exits, 1-1 in Shanghai. Now he's got to come back. How's he going to hold up? How is he going to hold off now? Budkov Kjaer, a bit like Lajal, even more so. It appears to me that this guy is more than ready for that step up. He's all but conquered this Challenger Tour at the moment. He's literally just won himself a title on the Challenger Tour prior to this, and he's come through qualifying, won himself a title and then got to the quarters in another one. Hasn't had to come through qualifying for this, is what I meant to say. 20-5 indoors. This guy's doing bits on the indoor courts, man. He really is. 7-2 on the hard court, 20-5 indoors, 18-12 on the clay, 50-24 on the season, man. Yeah, this guy should be ready. He should be more than ready. I feel like if you're gonna be who you want to be, or who you think you should be, Cilic are just the type of opponents that you should. I'm not gonna say you should be beaten, but these are the tests. These are the benchmarks, aren't they? These are most definitely the benchmarks. I'd say Cilic is a winnable game, a more than winnable game for the likes of Budkov Kjaer at the moment. He's got the youth, he's got the fitness, he's got the momentum, he's got the form, he's got everything. He's got the game for the indoor hard court. But Cilic has something that you just can't buy, that you just can't train for, and that's the experience. Sometimes the experience tops all. But more often than not, I always say this is a young man's game. It really is. And given what, you know, given the... how can I say, you know, given how much of a, you know, how do we say, what's the word, what's the phrase I'm looking for, a steeled veteran, rather, you know, how much of a steeled veteran Cilic is. These odds are so close to split down the middle. There's no favourites in this, call at 1.9 for the pair. I would lean towards Budkov Kjaer with the momentum and the youth on his side to edge this one out. If you can get him as a dog, happy days. But if not, split down the middle. Maybe just take him for the set and see how you get on. But we've got two more, and I'm just going to speed run these two because I'll leave that one to last because that one's just a fucking clown show, innit? Got the two Italians, Matteo Berrettini and Julio Zeppieri. Me heart says Berrettini. He's the better of the two Italians, we know. That serve and that forehand, not a lot you can do about that on the day. providing he can turn up and get it going. But he's been struggling, man. I don't believe Berrettini is in the best of state. I don't think he's in the greatest of shape. I really don't. He's been struggling. We didn't see him for ages. We didn't see him since Wimbledon, and since he's come back to the Asian Tour, he's went 1-3. Managed to get past Ymer, Casper Ruud beat him, Mannarino beat him, Dalborz Vecina beat him. That's not quite like Berrettini now. As for Zeppieri, he kind of resides on that Challenger Tour for the most part. He's managed to make the step up a couple of times throughout the season. Hasn't really had the minerals to see it through. Come through qualifying for this in straight sets. It's usually the case for Zeppieri. He flies through qualifying as well, 6-2, 6-4, and then in the second match, it's probably more of the same, 6-1, 6-4. Yeah, I'm not surprised. If Berrettini can turn up, implement his game, and he's fully fit, he wins this one. But there's been nothing as of late to suggest that Berrettini's going to turn up and look like the guy that we all know. At 1.6, is that? 1.55, 1.6. People don't fancy it. People are fancying a piece of Julio today, and I don't blame them. The way it looks at the moment for Berrettini, it looks like he just bets against them. From here on out to the end of the season now. Maybe throughout the majority, if not definitely the start of next season as well. I don't know how long it's going to take for this guy to get back to where he thinks he should be. But you don't need me to tell you, if Berrettini turns up, the guy that we know that turns up, he should wipe the floor with Zeppieri, especially on these courts. These are lightning fast. And if Berrettini can serve and hit that forehand, I think Zeppieri's going to be in for a bit of a fucking tough time today. So I'll finish up with Elias Ymer and Michael Ymer. I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing. You've got the 617th in the world taking on the 243. What are we even doing here? Head to head is 2-0 to the younger one, to young Elias. No, sorry, he's the older one, isn't he? Yeah. See how much of a fucking mindfuck this is? Yeah, Elias Ymer's beat him twice. 2014, 2015 means absolutely jack shit to me. And we're getting Michael as the favourite in this one. Crazy. 1.6 for Michael Ymer. So I've got nothing. I ain't going to waste anyone's time on this. Elias Ymer is on, is that an 8-game losing streak? What are we doing? What is this? Are these the only people that these are allowed to play now? Will these should play this game and then both exit the tournament or something? I don't know. Michael Ymer, there was a point in time where this guy was really good. But then, in hindsight, we look back and then we all know why he was really good. Kind of went missing for a while, come back. And he is, as Paul McCartney says, he is half the man he used to be. And I'm not surprised. 6-1 indoors this season, though, is not too bad. As for his older brother, though, this guy's in the mud. He's struggling so bad that maybe this one just is Michael Ymer or nothing. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. For what it's worth, it's the first round. We'll get through this and we'll assess the situation come tomorrow. Very well, folks, that's going to do us. Another day in the bag once again. Thanks for stopping by. You all mean a lot to me. I appreciate you watching the show. Like and subscribe before you go, and I'd appreciate that too. But very well, you take it easy. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. It's the most important thing. Make sure you get yourself involved. Let me know what you're going for. If you want to know what I'm going for, then you know where to look. Or you should do by now. But best of luck to you, however you decide to go about your business. Have yourself a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.